The following is a production of White Lightning Entertainment. This is Burning Rubber Radio.
Christopher Bell, that's his 7th stage win. Bell got stage 1, and now Hamlin. This is his 4th stage win of 2024. Going around goes Kyle Busch again in the 8. Caution comes out. Christopher Bell, what a day he has done. Bell wins in New Hampshire.
How about that, boys? Loud sweep 2024. Only one man can do the double. That's you, buddy. Great job. Great stinking job, fellas. I'm proud of you guys. Good job, Bill. Got them both.
Burning Rubber Radio is brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching. It's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. Now from the White Lightning Entertainment Studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here's your host, Andy DeLay.
Burning Rubber, baby. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Burning Rubber Radio. I'm your host, Andy DeLay, and we are ready for another action-packed hour, which is the fastest 60 minutes in motorsports right here on Burning Rubber Radio. In the studio with me is the NASCAR chef, John Dix, ready to do his newest recipe of the week. I know what it is, so I'm sorry if I'm chuckling.
Well, I mean, you can't help but chuckle at what it is, folks.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, Wade Owens here with us, everybody. Thanks for listening, and thanks for tuning in. I promise you, we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about this week. Mm-hmm. First ever NASCAR Oval ran on rain tires.
Yep.
Happened this week, and of course, Christopher Bell being victorious. You know what I was thinking, guys? Here, I was thinking Christopher Bell wins the race. You know who was second, right? Chase Briscoe.
Mm-hmm.
And who did Christopher Bell accidentally announce coming to Joe Gibbs Racing?
So you know what's funny is it was actually teased because I've seen it on Kyle Larson's X feed where he was saying it sucks to hear that my teammate is going to JGR. So he was referring to Chase Elliott, not Chase Briscoe. And I'll tell you what, folks, in our later on News of the Week segment, we've got the video of that from I believe it was on Bob Pockrass's feed that I saw the video of it. So we'll have the video for you later on here, and you can hear it on the radio side or watch it on our YouTube and Rumble channels to get the full depth of what we're talking about here when it comes to that move. But yes, Christopher Bell gets the win this weekend at New Hampshire. And not just one win, he gets two. He sweeps it with the Xfinity and the Cup Series wins, albeit the threat of tornadoes in the Northeast this past weekend. And, places like up there around Loudon, tornadoes are not something that happen very often. Like, that's a 1 in a million chance that weather like that could even possibly come up there.
Yeah. Well, getting back to that slip up by Seabell.
Yeah, right.
Stuart Haas is trying to be really tight-lipped about where everybody's going. Greg Zimpedelli is their director of competition and a friend of mine, and I've been texting Zippy for about the last week or so, and he ain't said nothing. He hasn't said anything and won't say anything. So
he's
there's a bunch of rumors.
Yeah, there's rumors that go everywhere. You know that, Andy, but
that's true.
What happens. We'll see what happens. A lot of people think Noah's going to stay, but what I think, because whose father is going to be running the new Gene Haas organization.
Factory team? Yeah, that's what it's going to be called, Gene, the Haas factory team, right?
Yeah,
Who?
Right. Well, oh my gosh, my mind just went blank. The guy who runs in the Xfinity series.
Are you talking about Cole Custer?
Cole Custer, I'm sorry. Yeah, his dad is running that.
Oh.
So,
well, guess who's going to be running their new Cup car next year?
That's my way out guess.
I'm feeling that
because I've talked to Cole before, and he is not silent about wanting to go into the Cup Series. So
he made it known.
Well, that's the thing. He was in the Cup Series for a little while, and performance just wasn't where it was supposed to be at. So they bumped him down to the Xfinity Series, and
you're right.
And honestly, realistically, now this is just me. He has a better fit in the Xfinity Series anyway. It's kind of like Kind of like how you got most of your guys in the truck series that, your Matt Craftons or your Todd Bodines or, guys like that have been in that specific series for 20, 25, 30 years. And while they've had chances to move up, they choose not to because they know where their talents are best suited.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
And
Yeah, we'll wait and see. But I think you're right, John. We're going to see Cole Custer and the Haas factory team ride. I guarantee it after you told me that.
Yeah, at least for the start. Yeah. See what he can do.
That'll be interesting to see how that all pans out here. But speaking of where talents are best suited, we've got to talk about our sponsors real quick here. And one being iRacing. Make sure you go over to iRacing.com and sign up for the world's premier online motorsports simulator. It's iRacing.com, and they're constantly making updates to iRacing. Dale Jr. being one of the executives at the company there. They have done so much for the NASCAR program and that side of things on that as far as creativity goes. I mean, again, look at what the race that's coming up here in a couple of weeks, the Chicago Street Race. That came off of iRacing, literally. And so some great stuff, folks, over at iRacing.com. Also got to talk about Drive Refine at driverefine.com. And Joey Coulter and Austin Theriault, maybe soon to be Senator Theriault, who knows. Well, Congressman, yeah. Either way, but one way or another, make sure you go over to driverefine.com and talk to Austin Theriault or Joey Coulter. Joey, longtime friend of the show. We've known Joey now pretty much since the inception of the show.
Oh yeah,
and
great guy.
Fantastic guy, and he's still a racer in his own right, so he knows what he's talking about when you go and work with him and get that driver coaching. And again, folks, it's not just driver coaching; it's better communication with your crew chief, with your crew, with everybody involved in your team. And again, it's not just driver coaching; it's Drive Refine.
Drive Refine.
That delay, I love it. And then the folks over at MyPillow, make sure you go over to mypillow.com/BRR and use the promo code BRR at checkout to get your order. I'm going to emphasize this point, shipped for free.
For free.
Yes, you can get your order shipped for free.
We got through that.
Yeah, we did.
And it's the 25. It's also the $25 mega sale too. So make sure you go over there and just about any product you can think of. My pillow, my towel, my slippers, I think he's working on my socks next. I don't even know at this point. But make sure you go check out mypillow.com/BRR and use that promo code BRR for free shipping on your entire order. With that said here, folks, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that first foreign fuel. But coming up a little bit later in the show here, folks, we're going to get into a safety discussion here because this is going to prove how viable and how real safety is when it comes to motorsports. Everybody saw the incident involving John Force this past weekend at the Virginia Motorsports Park. And it was not good by any stretch of the imagination. Right. So that is going to be our topic of focus for this week. But when we come back, first of all, news of the week. We're going to touch on that when we come back.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
Because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
Burning Rubber is social. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dix, Andy DeLay, Burning Rubber, baby. And time for a little bit of news of the week here, Andy. But you know what? I couldn't help myself. I got hungry waiting for the NASCAR chef, so I had to go make ramen. Ugh.
Okay, yeah. What kind of ramen? Beef, chicken?
Yeah, beef ramen, obviously, yeah.
That sounds good.
Actually, it
but
does.
Not as good as the NASCAR chef's cooking, but
well,
we're here to talk about some racing now, man.
Yeah, we are. And what about that craziness in New Hampshire? You know, first they called off most of the races, or called off the start, rather, and then ended up having to delay the finish of most of the races due to threats of tornadoes in New Hampshire.
Yeah, lightning.
Mm-hmm. Like tornadoes never happen in New Hampshire. Like, what is going on with Mother Nature?
Well, it was Mother Nature at her best.
Yeah.
And I think now there's going to be a little bit of a difference of opinion here. I see this coming up here. I thought it was an excellent deal with the rain tires.
Oh, yeah.
This weekend at New Hampshire. The fact that they broke those things out. Now, folks may not understand that, slicks, the guys are out there running full fuel runs. These rain tires, you can run them, especially on a wet track for what they're designed for. But as the track dries, these tires get really hot, really fast, and they'll blister. Yep. And so you'll saw those guys during the cautions running down real close to the inside wall because there was puddled water there in order to cool the tires down. But NASCAR made a call to bring everyone down pit road with about 10 laps left, put on 4 new rain tires, and then they ran the final 10 laps on those rain tires. Now, I know John has a differing opinion. I personally thought it was great. I just wish they would have let the teams call whether they wanted to put on rain tires or slicks, but other than that, that's where I am.
Well, but the question
Andy,
then becomes,
what you were talking about, and my take on this thing is I feel for the crew chiefs because, during the whole race, they're all about strategy. And if you remember before it started raining, Kyle Larson came in and took 2 tires and got positions. Yes. And then these guys worked so hard. You got some of them on new tires, old tires, 4 tires, whatever. And then all of a sudden NASCAR brings them all in and puts them on equal tires. Now, to me, if I was one of the crew chiefs that worked hard all day long trying to get my car up there on a tire situation, now you're going to put everybody behind me on all equal tires. I didn't think that was fair. So I think there's got to be some different way of doing it,
Well, but
I don't know what the answer is, but
the other question then, too, that comes to mind, because if you think about it, when it comes to those rain tires, they're meant exclusively for a track that is still over 10% wet. So, enough so that it will help dry the track off even faster. Obviously still leaving that puddling down at the bottom on the inside. But once that track is less than 10% wet, technically they're supposed to go back to slicks at that point.
Well, you keep in mind that this was the first time that NASCAR has ever ran a rain tire on an oval.
Well,
so this was kind of an experiment.
Yes and no, because they did it at the Roval a couple of years ago, remember?
Yeah, but this is the first time it's ever been used on an oval, on a regular oval racing track.
Well,
the Roval's a road course. So,
but it still has oval tendencies.
Okay, but it's still a very, very much
it's still very much a road course, yes. But
Now, having said what I said before about that, once they started, with the tires, I think about 30 laps to go, they should have let the teams do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And if somebody put slicks on and ran into the wall, that was their decision. Instead of controlling, because I've seen some stuff on Twitter, especially from Legacy and some of the other ones, that they are upset that they dictated what tires they were going to have. They should have let the guys hang themselves.
Yeah.
I think that would have been made a better race.
It would have.
Yes, because I know that Larson wanted to go to slicks, and
Absolutely.
their team wanted to switch to it. I'm sure moving forward, now that the experimental factor is off of this, that NASCAR will probably back off and let the teams be a little more involved in the decision to put
Andy,
slicks or rain tires.
this is NASCAR we're talking about here. They don't know how to back off.
I don't know.
Yeah, but the biggest injustice of all is that the race was on USA this weekend instead of on NBC. And I go to turn on NBC after I got home from working because I was listening to the race on the way home. And I go to turn on the race and I'm thinking, okay, New Hampshire probably going to be on NBC, no big deal. And what do I find? PGA Golf. But either way.
And I tell you what, after yesterday, Big Bill France is rolling over in his grave because he made a statement years ago that he would never, ever ask his fans to sit in a rain and watch cars race. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm just too much old school, but it is what it is. And it did turn out to be a good racing at the end. I'll give him that.
I mean, in all fairness and honesty, IMSA races in the rain and everything like that. But granted, the cars are also manufactured to do such. NASCAR is not, but who knows? It's the changing of the guard here, where we're seeing something pretty cool come to light with the ability to race in the rain on an oval like New Hampshire or like Kentucky or even Nashville Superspeedway coming up here this coming week. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But the thing that we really got to touch on though is the fact that Christopher Bell swept the whole weekend at New Hampshire. He
sure did.
You couldn't ask for better at that point. And then, it was fantastic watching Seabell get up there and just knock the rails off of everybody at that point in time. But the other, kind of an honorable mention that I want to bring up too, because this goes back to the Motorsports Enthusiast pick from this past weekend. He went for MTJ for 2 weeks in a row. And MTJ, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just it being his retirement year and the crew's just like, whatever, or what the case might be. Snakebit doesn't even qualify for what he was this past weekend at New Hampshire. He was just
he ran good for a good while.
He did. He was running on old tires and holding second place for the longest time against the Hamster.
And Denny was leading on old tires.
Exactly. Yeah. But that one pit stop after stage 2 literally just poisoned that whole run. He went from 2nd to 27th and then got mired up in a wreck, and that just totally ruined the rest of his day.
Now, if you want to talk about Snakebit, let's talk about Kyle Busch's ongoing saga Oh my gosh.
He had three wrecks, 3 spins yesterday or 3 wrecks?
His last one was under caution on the rain tires just before they went green, and he was so over it. He limped, well, they had to tow him back with the wrecker to the pits, but he got out of the car, walked back, or didn't talk to anyone, didn't make a comment, went to the hauler, and that was the end of
Yep.
So
I bet he doesn't walk away and cry when he picks up that big paycheck. So, I'm tired of him acting like a little schoolboy.
Well,
if his son did that, he would be kind of mad. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm pretty
it's
sure
better than him f-bombing the media over his woes.
Yeah,
at least he wasn't whining about it.
That is true, but I'm pretty sure Samantha probably gave him a good talking to after the race too. So
that or something else.
Yeah, went to one ear and out the other.
Yeah, right. At least Wayne caught that one.
I got it, Andy.
I can't with you today, man. But one last bit of news we're going to touch on here real quick before we head to our next Four and Fuel is the IndyCar series from this past weekend. They were out at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, and or not. That's Road Atlanta. What am I thinking? Well, I think WeatherTech.
You're
does
right. WeatherTech Laguna Seca. You got it.
Okay. Well, because I know WeatherTech does Road Atlanta too, so I always have to be cautious when I say that because
they were out west this week.
They were out west at Laguna Seca this past weekend, and Alex Palou gets a good one. He not only qualified pole position, but won the whole shooting match.
I love that track out there. I love Laguna Seca. It was a fun track to call a race at when I was calling the SCCA out there, so I enjoyed that place.
It's kind of funny. I've never been to Laguna Seca, but now this shows the generation that I grew up in. I remember playing Laguna Seca many, many times on Gran Turismo, and and
I like driving it on iRacing. It's fun.
Well, and you know what? I've never even driven it on iRacing, but maybe who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll get my subscription back and I'll try again and see what happens.
Neither have I.
And
well, I will say this much: driving Laguna Seca on iRacing and then going out there and getting a ride around the track. Granted, it wasn't at speed, but exactly the same. Yeah, that was so cool.
Oh yeah!
Wow,
some pretty cool stuff indeed, and great stuff from Alex Palou grabbing the win this past weekend at Laguna Seca in California. And with that said, here, folks, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that next Four and Fuel, and when we come back, Andy. I think safety is something we might want to consider talking about in place of a featured guest this week because there was
that, and I'd also like to talk about John Force.
That you actually read my mind. That was what I was going to talk about as far as safety goes, because there was something pretty bad that happened this past weekend in Virginia. But we'll touch on it when we come back.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The MyPillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, MyPillow 2.0. When I invented MyPillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. MyPillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature-regulating thread. MyPillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of MyPillow.
Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your MyPillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
MyPillow.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
We can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
Visit us online at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber, producer Wade, NASCAR chef John Dix, and Andy DeLay. And Andy, you know what? The more I sit and think about it, when I listen to Boomhauer there, I I can't help but think of John with the cannon string.
Oh yeah, our NASCAR chef, being old school, still uses that cannon string. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right,
y'all don't pick on
exactly.
me that bad. Come on, guys.
But either which way here, we have got to get into the topic of discussion for this week here. And again, folks, safety is something that is always paramount when it comes to the world of motorsports. And you know, the sad part is, and you can call it as you see it when it comes to this, but sometimes, you know, it sadly requires somebody dying before, you know, a new safety innovation comes about, which we never hope has to happen. We just hope that everything, you know, comes organically as they see these, you know, severe wrecks happen and things like that. But the big reason we bring this up is this past weekend at the Virginia Motorsports Park here, John Force was involved in a very, very bad wreck. In fact, actually, I do believe I have the video of that here too. Matter of fact, I do. So let me. You hear the audio in the background there for just a split second here, but we're going to cue up the video here so that folks can see this wreck. And again, folks, you know, take it with a grain of salt, because this was not a good wreck.
Qualifying coverage of these Play NHRA Virginia Nationals. We wanted to share with you this harrowing footage from the first round of eliminations in Nitro Funny Car. John Force has suffered one of the most significant crashes of his entire legendary career, passing the finish line at 302 miles
And for those
an hour,
listening on the
making
radio,
contact
John
with
just
the
hits the
concrete
wall
guard
right
wall
here
at
at
nearly that
300
speed.
plus miles
We'll
per
have
hour.
full qualifying coverage following this footage. You will tune back in tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern on FS1 to see the full race coverage.
And
we will take you through every inch of what has happened to John Force. He did leave the racetrack conscious, speaking to medical officials.
And
let me add to that right there. He did leave the track conscious, but as of the time we are recording the show here, he is still in critical condition in ICU.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Right. And now, granted, now again, you know, like they said, he did escape the car before it caught fire, even worse than it did. But either which way, though, the fact is, Andy, he's in ICU at the moment, but the biggest thing of note, and this is where the safety is paramount to these cars, you know, he was able to get out before it caught fire, because they purposely design multiple points of escape in case things like this happen.
Right.
Well, the car was wadded up, period.
Oh, yeah.
If you folks want to go check it out, if you're listening on the radio, it hit that wall. When you hit something at 300 plus miles an hour, it's going to wad it up. And let me also tell you, he happened to win his qualifier before he blew up there. Right, just as soon as he crossed, I guess he was just still in the throttle there at the very end. You know, when the engine, detonated, it went up.
Oh yeah,
huge explosion. He just didn't throw a rod or something. And of course, he veered across the track to the left, hit the wall head on almost, and then back across the track and hit the wall again. So we got a multi-G crash on two different hits here. And all John was, and I said head on. I guess I should say he pretty much driver slapped the wall, I guess, which we all know kills drivers in this sport when you slap the wall on the driver's side. Thank God. John Force isn't no spring chicken either. He's 75 years old. And I can tell you at my 58 years old that I'm at, if I hit the wall like that, I'd have been done.
Yeah. Well, I'm 70 and I feel his pain, but bless his heart. So
no, the safety innovations
our prayers are for our buddy John Force. So
yes.
Yeah, massive prayers go out to John and the entire Force family. And the NHRA also released a statement right after everything happened. You know, during the first round of funny car eliminations at the Play NHRA Virginia Nationals on Sunday at Virginia Motorsports Park, John Force's funny car suffered an engine explosion at the finish line and then crossed the center line, striking both guard walls before coming to a stop. Force was alert, and it was examined on site by the NHRA medical team, which, folks, we think NASCAR's medical team are some pretty trained professionals. NHRA's medical team, I would dare say, is even further top-notch. than NASCAR's medical team. But beside the point on that one here, he was examined on site before being transported to a local medical facility for further evaluation. JFR later released a statement saying that he is in ICU, as Andy mentioned, but did not comment on the extent of the injuries. Force was involved in a serious accident in 2007 as well that nearly took his life at Texas Motorplex, and the crash had forced the 16-time champion to be airlifted to a local hospital where he remained for roughly a month with a broken left wrist, compound fracture in his left ankle, major abrasions on his right knee, and several broken fingers. Now, this was back in 2007. So, fast forward 17 years, and we're seeing something very, very similar happen. Now, granted, when that crash happened back in 2007, he was Andy's age. He was in his 50s.
That's right.
And then, so now fast forward to where he's at now, being 4 or 5 years older than John is, and realistically, actually, was a year older than my dad was, or would have been if Dad would have been with us today. And like you said, he's no spring chicken. So
no, there's no way. And I wonder. I don't want people to think I'm talking out my ass here, but this is what I was thinking. 300 miles an hour impact into the wall like that, especially a driver's side slap like that. I wonder if soft walls would have helped at all there, like they have in NASCAR.
You know what? That actually is a good point, Andy. That really is. Matter of fact, because okay, case in point, go back to the 2020 crash with Ryan Newman at the Daytona 500. Those soft walls, I think, literally is, even though the car pretty much imploded, was the one thing that helped save his life. And that was at 205 miles an hour. So, the extra 100 miles an hour very well, with the technology that's out there today, I think they could easily develop something like that could handle 300 plus mile per hour impacts.
I was just wondering, because I know drivers, the seating has come miles and miles and miles. Oh yeah. And I mark it since we lost Dale Sr. Those guys back then, really, they were stabilized by rib stabilizers from the seat, and now of course you got shoulder stabilization, head halo stabilization. The seats are built like armor. Now that's for a stock car. I'm sure it has to be a lot alike for the NHRA.
It is 100% alike. Actually, in most cases, the seating is a lot stiffer when it comes to the NHRA. Getting up close to one of the dragsters. Actually, I got up close to John's when he was back in the pits during the four wides a couple of years ago. And they use seating that's very similar to what Randy LaJoy builds for the Joy of Seating for the Cup cars. But if I'm not mistaken, and Randy, if we're wrong, please definitely get a hold of us and let us know for sure. But if I'm not mistaken, Andy, and like I said, I could be wrong, that the NHRA has worked with the Joy of Seating, which is Randy's seat shop, and they have actually developed an this even stiffer seat. And as compared to NASCAR, these guys have I believe it's a 6 or 7 point harness that is in that seat with a quick emergency release in events like this, where they can get out much quicker than having to go and just pop out. Like, they have an emergency release latch on that seat belt that will allow them to just jump out instantaneously to avoid further injury.
What were those sound effects again, Wayne? Okay.
Yes, folks, I make my own sound effects.
There you go.
But either which way here, we really hope for nothing but the best for John, because John is not just a friend of the show; he is family here. And,
we love John.
And we say the same for Dale Jr. We say the same for Antron Brown. We say the same for everybody that we've had on the show multiple times. You're not just friends; you're family here when it comes to this show. And so we want to see nothing. We want to see nothing but the best come out of this for John Force. And all right, folks. So I thought I might have seen an update come across on his Twitter real quick. Like I said, we were going to possibly do it in the later News of the Week segment, but just happened to pull up his X feed, and nothing specific yet that has been announced about John Force. But again, folks, if we hear any information, it is going to go up on our Facebook page right away, facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. So do be sure to like and follow the page, and that way you can stay up to date on any news that does come about. With that said, here we're going to step aside. We're going to take that next foreign fuel, and John, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to go deal with this recipe you got this week, my friend. But with that said, here, folks, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that next foreign fuel, and John Dix is on tap when we come back.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
Because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
The grill is fired up, and the chef has something good cooking.
Oh, you're cooking, Frankie!
It's the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dix, Andy DeLay, and then Burning Rubber, baby. And, man, I'll tell you what, Andy, that ramen tided me over pretty well, but the NASCAR chef's in the house, and it's time to get cooking.
Yeah, I know, man. I had to sit here and watch you shovel that nasty shit in your mouth, man. It was like you were trying to shovel in Medusa's head in your mouth, man. It was nasty.
Well, hey, you know what? Nothing worse than, and don't get me wrong, John, I love you to death, when you cook something that looks like a pile of shit.
Who's cooking? Are you calling the NASCAR chefs cooking a pile of shit?
No, not his cooking in general. I'm talking about the recipe that he come up with.
John, kick him under the table, man.
Oh, there you go. I got him. There you go.
God damn it, John.
We're going to cut him out of his portion from now on, Andy.
Yeah, really. Well, he ate his portion, my portion, and probably everyone else within 3 miles portion of ramen just a few minutes ago.
I know. I think the duck is even mad over that.
Well, you know what's funny is I still have a half a portion left over here. So,
man, would you cook 10 things of ramen or something?
2, actually. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh! Anyway, here we go.
And
down the rabbit hole again.
And not to mention a good old Southern drink and some cherry wine.
Cherry wine, that's good stuff, man.
But it's time for the NASCAR chef John Dix. John, what you got this week?
Oh Lord, yeah, he's back.
Talked in the studio again.
I think Andy stepped on him and woke him up down there or something.
Anyway.
Oh, my God.
Well, guys, we're going to do a keto recipe this week. It's called bacon pickle fries.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Very tasty and very savory. Trust me. We're going to start with 12 pickle spears, 12 slices of bacon. Now, you can use the turkey bacon if you want. And what you're going to do, guys, very simple. You're going to preheat your oven to 425. You're going to wrap each pickle in a slice of bacon, then place the bacon wrapped pickles on a bacon sheet and put them in the oven. Now do them the bacon, the ends, the seams, whatever you want to call them, side down, because they'll actually pull apart if you don't. And you want to bake them for about 12 to 15 minutes at 425 till they're nice and crispy and done. And it's that simple, guys. Wait till they're room temperature and enjoy them.
Awesome.
Wow.
That sounds easy and good. I'll tell you how they turn out next week. What kind of pickles? Dill pickles?
Yeah, some dill pickles or just whatever your favorite is. But I would use a dill pickle, Andy. Yeah, that's a good question.
So, interestingly enough, though, John, I've never been much of a pickle guy. Now, obviously, fried pickles. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a texture thing for me. But fried pickles taste better than regular pickles to me. And if I heard you tell me right off the air here, I can deep fry them too, or just fry them up in general, and make things work out just as well, right?
You can do anything you want with your pickle, brother.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. Andy was dying over there. I could see him across the table. He couldn't keep his mouth shut. Lord.
Anyway,
he
John,
might want to keep his mouth shut. Otherwise, there's going to be a pickle that gets shoved in there.
Oh, God, no. Don't threaten me with a good time. John, go ahead.
No wonder the duck left. Anyways,
folks, we've gone off the rails here again this week. We've gone off the rails again this week.
Yeah, we did. Anyway, John.
Guys, if you want to get a hold of me and you have a recipe to share, please do. You can get me at john@brrtv.net. That's john@brrtv.net. And give me some of your thoughts and send me some of your recipes. It's summertime. Everybody's out grilling. There's a lot of fish coming out of the Gulf and the Atlantic, and we're probably going to do some of those in the next couple of weeks. So shoot me a recipe, guys, and we'll air it on the show.
Okay. Well, I'd rather have fish than picles anyway. So. God knows Andy will come up with some joke for that one too. But...
I'm waiting.
Yeah, I don't even want to begin to imagine. But hey, you know what?
I don't even see the duck looking back in the studio door.
Oh, trust me, he ran out because Andy's like, he heard Andy. He's just like, whack, 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 whack.
Yeah, he was done. He was done with. He didn't want to see anyone's pickles.
Oh my God. Folks, again, with that said, if you ever want to get a hold of the NASCAR chef, john@brrtv.net. John@brrtv.net is the way to get a hold of him. All right, folks, take a good look at the full screen recipe here. And again, if you want to get a hold of the recipe and you're listening to us on the radio, all you got to do is go over to our YouTube channel or our Rumble channel at youtube.com/Burning Rubber Radio and rumble.com/ or search for Burning Rubber Radio, And then you can get a hold of John's weekly recipe, take a picture of it, and make it up and make it look real pretty. And for all the intents and purposes, if you want to show John how your pickles turn out, or better yet, send them to Andy. He'll find an entertaining use for those fried pickles as well.
Take pictures of your pickles and send it to us.
Yep.
Yeah, Wayne at brr.tv.
Oh my
God!
Me. No, my God, no. But. And by the way, folks, yes, we're still PG-13. We're not talking about those pickles. But with that said, we're going to step aside. We're going to take our final four in fuel. And when we come back, we've got picks coming up for Nashville Super Speedway. And Andy, the motorsports enthusiast, he's taking a week off, but he's giving me his pick. And I think it might just be a good one for this week coming up.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
that when we help others,
We heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
We can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
help every child we can.
because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
Then there's still work to do.
because their future
Is our future.
and there's still so much they can teach us.
Burning Rubber is social. Follow us on Instagram at Instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber. Producer Wayne, NASCAR Chef John Dix, Andy DeLay, and Andy, you got that weird look on your face. What are you thinking about over there?
Nothing, man. I'm just, I'm actually thinking.
Oh God,
Can you
yeah. See,
believe
that's a scary thought, folks. You'll see the
That's the
smoke come
weird
out.
look.
You'll see the smoke. You'll see the smoke coming out of his ears here momentarily. I promise you.
True.
But I tell you what, we got to get back to some news of the week here after John decided to go playing with pickles. And
Don't get me started again, guys. I just calmed down and quieted down.
Yep. Keep quiet, because I know that's what you're percolating about over there. But we've got to get on to news of the week here before we get into picks for Nashville Super Speedway.
Pickles for Nashville.
And the Ally 400 coming up this weekend in the NASCAR Cup Series. You know what? As much as he hates Muttley, folks, he earns it every single week. He literally does. He earns it every single week. But either which way.
Oh, wait, you're number one.
Hey, you know what? So are you, Andy.
I am, but thank you.
Either way, folks, we've got to get back to news of the week here, and
No wonder the duck hadn't come back.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
right, exactly. The ducks like the heck with y'all. I'm out of here.
He's over there drinking duck farts.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, the duck fart shots. Yeah, I forgot about those. From a few weeks
you
ago.
think I'm going juvenile again? That's a real recipe. Anyway, let's get the news of the week.
Yeah, we got to get the news of the week here real quick. And like we talked about during the safety segment here, folks, with John Force Racing and everything like that, at least a little bit of good news to come out of this weekend is that JFR's Austin Prock did take the funny car Wally from this past weekend at the Virginia Nationals. There we go. The Play NHRA Virginia Nationals. So at least some good news to come out of the weekend for JFR with Austin Prock getting the win there. And again, folks, as soon as we have any news on John Force, we will let you know on our Facebook page. And if we can, if I can teach Andy how to work X again, I think I'll see if I can get him to post over there too. And but either way, here Doug Coletta wins as well as Greg Stanfield. And once again, Andy, Pro Stock Motorcycles, you know who wins.
NHRA, baby.
Yup, exactly. And I'll tell you what, man, Herrera has been on one hell of a tear in the
You ain't
NHRA.
kidding. He wins everything.
Yep, exactly. And but going through all the categories here from this past weekend here, Doug Coletta in Top Fuel. And I said Greg Stanfield. I meant to say Aaron Stanfield. That is my fault on that one. But going through the categories here, starting off with Funny Car, Austin Prock's run to get him the win was 3.921 at 327.9 miles per hour in his Cornwell Tools Chevrolet Camaro SS. And by the way, again, folks, I cannot reiterate this point enough, and this will show you how fast these cars go and how much horsepower is in them. 11,000 horsepower.
God.
So
It's just mind-boggling how they get that power to the ground.
That, you know what, there's definitely a lot of downforce in those cars. There is no doubt about that one whatsoever.
Absolutely.
But either way, here, moving on over Pro Stock Motorcycles, Gage Herrera added yet another notch in his amazing 2-year run on Sunday, going 6.75 seconds and 199.26 miles per hour. And now, I gotta say, this is one of the greatest sponsors ever. In his RevZilla Mission Foods Vance and Hines Suzuki to defeat teammate Richard Gatson. But again, think about that, Andy. We're talking the NHRA here, and you've got RevZilla as a sponsor. Like,
yeah, it's cool.
That is the coolest thing ever. And Doug Coletta continued to roll on in Top Fuel, defeating Sean Langdon in the final round with a weekend run of 3.72 at 333.4 miles per hour this past weekend.
Unreal.
So yeah, that's that, folks. That shows you how paramount that shows you again how paramount safety is when it comes to the NHRA. And Andy had a great idea, folks. And if you missed it during the video, like I say, if you skipped over that segment entirely and you want to go back and hear what we talked about, go back about 20-ish minutes, and Andy had a great idea about talking about the possibility of maybe seeing about instituting soft walls as far as the guard walls are concerned.
I don't know if it'll work or if it's going to make a difference. So it's just an idea.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically, I think it may very well potentially help. But but if you rewind back about 20 minutes, you'll be able to hear that conversation. And let us know. You know what? Let us know your thoughts, folks. Do you think soft walls would help when it comes to the NHRA, like they have with NASCAR? If so, Facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Let us know, and we would love to hear your thoughts on that one. But speaking of former NASCAR, current NASCAR, and all the fun stuff we got going on here, it's time to get ourselves into picks for the week coming up at Nashville Super Speedway. And by the way, folks, just as a heads up, the motorsports enthusiast is taking the week off. He did give me his pick. So I am going to announce his pick first and foremost here before we get too far into things. And he decided to go with Willie B for his pick for the week. And
William Byron.
And based on statistics, he also gave me his prediction for top 5, not in any specific order though. So he made sure to emphasize that point. And being Byron, Chastain, Elliott, Bell, and Larson for the top 5 at Nashville.
That's pretty safe.
Yeah, really. The same ones that finished top 5 every week.
Yeah, right, exactly.
He went out on a limb on that bad boy.
Though I'll tell you what, I will give credit where credit is due. Front Row Motorsports with Michael McDowell and Todd Gilliland.
That's right. Yeah. Now, let me tell you this, if you've looked at our power rankings, which I post up, you'll see that Michael McDowell made our top 10 power rankings this week. Some folks thought that I was smoking funny grass or something, but no, this guy didn't finish up, in the top 10 this week, but he ran there.
And
he will make our power rankings again this week.
But again, guys like Todd Gilliland, you're talking about guys that, he's got talent. He just hasn't necessarily always had a car behind him to do it. But whatever Front Row has got going on here recently, Todd Gilliland has been showing up and showing out pretty damn well, in my honest opinion.
I agree.
I mean, look at it before the rain delay. I mean, he was running 5th place at the rain delay.
He was running the Grillos, the Pickles, talking about pickles.
Yeah.
He was in a pickle car.
Yeah, he was in that green pickle car.
Yeah, go figure, right? And but on to the remainder of picks here for the week. So again, John DeRudris is calling out William Byron to be his pick to win this week. Andy, you are next, sir.
Get ready to watch our boy Ross Chastain smash a watermelon in victory lane this week.
All right. Yeah. So, John Dix, who you feeling?
Well, since we have a young man who has been stinking up the small tracks, and he stunk up this last weekend, and I think he's going to do it again this coming up weekend, Mr. C. Bell.
All right. Ooh. So he's going to call Christopher Bell to win at Nashville Super Speedway. I am going to go with, you know what? I'm going to go with the guy that's usually sponsored by Ally, since it is the Ally 400 this weekend. I'm going to say the showman, Alex Bowman, gets it done.
You must be smoking that grass.
I wouldn't put no money on that one, Wayne.
No, good God, man.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what? You know what's funny is I've got some funny grass hiding in the green room. So
let's not hear that. I didn't hear that.
I wonder where the duck went.
He's over there smoking. He's smoking one stash.
Oh my God! But with that said,
he agrees. He said, "Yeah."
Yep. He's already on cloud 9. But with that said, here, folks, we have got to get out of here for another week of Burning Rubber on the all of our radio affiliates, TV, YouTube, Rumble. For the NASCAR chef John Dixon, Andy DeLay, I'm producer Wayne. Until next week, Burning Rubber, baby.
Burning Rubber, baby.
Burning Rubber, baby.
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of White Lightning Entertainment with studios in Statesville, North Carolina, and was brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching. It's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. This week's show was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio can be seen on Rumble, YouTube, or wingding.tv and heard on radio stations nationwide. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be the express written permission of White Lightning Entertainment.